Obviously you made your Ashes debut in 2001, and the formidable Australians just showed how good they were. I mean, were they as good as you were expecting? I think they won the first test by an innings in 118. From your point of view, you scored 76, which must have been quite nice from a personal point of view, but to go out there and play against them, were they better than you thought they were going to be?
No, not better. I think it's just matched up to what you expected. You'd seen it so much that it was built around these things, all the media attention around it, that it suddenly became this is what Ashes cricket was about. You're playing against the best team, probably in their prime at that point. Just how good they were. So it's what I expected it to be. Quite tough, quite a harsh environment, and not a lot of difference. But I think we won the 4th Test match, didn't we, at Headingley? So it took a bit of a beating, as you can imagine.
So obviously Australia won the first 3 tests quite convincingly and retained the Ashes. But I just didn't imagine that took any gloss off the victory, as you say, in the 4th Test. Mark Butcher making that big 150 as well.
No, it didn't. I suppose it was nice. It's always nice to win, especially an Ashes Test match. But once the series is gone, there's always that element of something that you're not quite celebrating it the same. Once in comparison, when we went 2-1 up in 05, that was a completely different feeling about it altogether. So winning a test match is great, but once you've already lost the series, it does make you just sit back and think about it. And I think at the time, we only had 3 days then between the next test match anyway, so we couldn't celebrate like you'd really want to, not too much. That
winter as well, again, Australia swept the board, won the first 4, but that 5th match England got the victory, and a bittersweet day for Andy Caddick.
Yeah, it was amazing.
10 wickets in the match, 7 in 1 innings, and then never played for England again.
Bizarre, isn't it, to think that in the last Test match you played, you go and get 10 wickets in the game, and then you don't play. That would be, for me, like getting a double 100 and another 100 in the second innings and not getting an opportunity. It's bizarre, really, to think that happened. But that was good. That was an enjoyable trip. Great to be over there for the full 5 Test matches and then get the victory at the end. So, but yeah, disappointed for Caddy that he never got an opportunity. What was it? Was he injured, or I can't remember what it was? Why he didn't play again in the summer?
I think he picked up an injury in the summer.
And then he never, then just missed out.
I think it was a potential call up in 2007, which never materialised.
Right. Okay.
It's a shame though.
Yeah, it was tough.
Then 2005. Obviously expectations high. There was quite a lot of chat in the press, Australia talking about another, coming over here and getting a whitewash. Again, they won the first test by a fairly decent score, 239 runs. Did you think, oh no, not again?
I think going into the series we knew it was going to be a lot closer. We've been playing very well for about 18 months and developed our team pretty strongly, so we knew we were better placed to match up against them. But once we played the first Test match, we remember getting hammered in the media because everybody's thinking it's going to happen exactly the same fashion. But it soon turned around. We luckily turned it around pretty quickly. Although we nearly lost the next Test match, 3 runs or 2 runs, whatever it was. We were definitely always going to compete.
I mean, it was a good start. Thereabouts. Although Australia won, they rolled out for 190 in their first innings. Harmison took 5 for, but then their class, I guess, just showed through. But I guess the turning point is the Test match that everyone always talks about now, the Edgbaston game. Tense enough for you, was it, at the end?
It was good, very good. Obviously exciting, and I thought it had gone. I thought it had disappeared at that point. But to finally get it and pull it off in the last minute, or last over of what was happening, 2 runs I think it was, that it was just delightful to know that we were back in the series at that point, because it would gone. If we were 2-0 down, probably couldn't have come back from that, I don't think.
You must have gone through the full remit of emotions. They needed 282 and 175 for 8.
Yeah.
220 for 9, and then the scoreboard just kept going over and over, and a couple of chances went down as well.
One chance I think it was, Simon Jones down at 3rd man, and we all expected at that point that was going to be it, done and dusted, but they did well to get so close. I'm amazed how they got so close, really, because Kastrovic, with all due respect to him, he's not the best number 11 that we've ever seen. he managed to hold on and did a good job. So it was tricky.
And there's obviously the picture of Fred and Brett Lee at the end, which I guess sums up, whilst there's always the sledging and the banter and the rivalry and the hatred, let's face it, it just goes to show that, you know, there is tremendous amount of respect and sportsmanship between the two teams.
Of course there is. It's like the boxing, isn't it, when the pre-match stuff, all the hype they go through and the building it up, and at the end of the game or end of the fight, that they, you know, they shake each other's hands 9 times out of 10 and celebrate a good fight. So it's just all the stuff and pre-match stuff that goes with it, really. There's a lot of respect behind the scenes. You generally get to play with quite a number of the guys that you played against, so it's always friendly after the event.
McGrath and Warren, the best bowlers you faced?
Warren, yes, definitely. You know, you don't see spinners like that very often in the world's game, you know, and for him to play so long and be so dominant as he was, it was brilliant. Yeah, fantastic bowler. McGrath was, again, he was relentless. But you faced a lot of good seamers around that sort of time, but McGrath was probably the best of that bunch. So.
Final match, although it ended in a draw, fairly spectacular stuff. 12 wickets in the match for Warren, big centuries for Peterson and Strauss.
Yeah.
Has a draw in a cricket match ever been celebrated quite so spectacularly?
Of course not. Obviously, it's just, you know, when that final moment when they came in and told us that it was over, we started jumping around and celebrating very, very quickly. Although the bails had not been formally removed out on the pitch as such, so we were about 5 minutes ahead of the game, and that realisation then of what we'd achieved was pretty big. So yeah, it was a magic moment that you'll never forget. Those few minutes where you could sit back and enjoy and realise you've actually finally done it and beaten them was a big moment.
Did you have any idea it was going to be so big? It was going to be front page of every paper?
Well, we sort of got wind of it because it was the last series, I think, on terrestrial TV. We were getting wind of it anyway because we were realising we were front page, we were back page of newspapers, so that the hype was building. The only real big time that I really noticed it was the open top bus ride, when there were thousands and thousands of people sort of line the streets of London when the day after the game that we had to then go on. That's when you saw the interest that it created. There was people hanging out of windows. There was, you know, the thousands of people on the street. Everybody in London was just creating and enjoying this moment. So that was the biggest moment to see it all.
Did you have any idea that open top bus parade was going to be that big and that well supported?
No. Well, I didn't know what to expect. The media got wind of it before the start of the Test match that the ECB were planning it, of course. So they started printing it and things, so it always added that little bit more pressure. But when you got to the final day, of course, a little bit hungover anyway, but the excitement was still there, and to see what was going on was incredible. Something you wish you could just relive every day.
It was an incredible couple of days, obviously going to number 10, and obviously we've heard various stories. I'm going to assume they're all true.
I'm not going to go into any stories because that would probably be best left alone. But again, just everything that goes with it. There was so much we had to do. Come the end of the day, I was absolutely shattered. But you had to go to did the bus ride. You had the mayor's office. You had Trafalgar Square. Then you went to the Downing Street, and from there up to Lord's to do a photo. Come the end of the time, then when we'd finished that, we were absolutely goose because you played a hard 5 days of cricket. You'd had a night celebrating where there was not much sleep, and then obviously then a lot of work to do the next day. It was pretty tricky. So I remember just while we were at Lord's, just taking a bit of time out and sitting in the changing room with TV on, watching a few of the highlights and seeing what was going on, because I was just absolutely shattered from it all.